morning from northeastern Mississippi. This is Lori with Lobelia Acres. And I'm just welcoming you to my drive to work today. A lot of this is just practicing streaming, practicing chatting and stuff. I wasn't able to do a cooking and cleaning one this morning because I was just way too tired. So, yeah, work's difficult right now. I'm gonna swap to so you can see the scenery around here because it's pretty. Most places are pretty. I've not run into very many places that are not pretty. Anyway, yeah, I'm exhausted. I really needed another day to my weekend this last weekend. As it was, I got a second day because I just wasn't feeling well enough to go on Saturday. And so I didn't get enough done. But anyway, kind of weird stuff this morning that I looked at my scheduling app for my job and realized it had me in there for sunrise, which is 5 a.m., which I had no intention of going to, didn't know about it, and I've since had a text from work saying that there were some errors on the schedule today, so I don't know right now if I made a mistake or if the app made a mistake. So either I'm gonna get a write-up for no call, no show for what's an accident on my part, or I actually don't know if I work this evening or not. So I think if I'm on the schedule, I think I'm gonna see if my supervisor will take me off. I don't know if she will. She's not the most understanding of managers, that's for sure. But I would be willing to bet that she won't. Which isn't good, because what I might have to do then is just, I don't know, call sick or something. I'm so tired. I'm kind of worried about trying to make the drive at 10:30 at night again today and tomorrow, because I'd already decided, I'll just pick up tomorrow twilight to make up the fact that I missed today's sunrise and don't have twilight on my schedule according to the app. But now knowing that the app itself might have screwed up, I don't know how to fix it right now. But as long as I have to do this 6 days a week, 2 days of doubles followed by a single, and 2 days of doubles and a single might be doable. I don't know. At least gives me a chance to get enough sleep on the one night in between. But anyway, that's my work life right now. If I get home early tonight, I've got to work on making the dog shelters, because the dogs are going to be outside, and no money for that, but we have stuff around. We've got some make a decent roof and maybe siding for these shelters. I think the Pyrenees is going to be under our front steps, so I think there's enough space for them in there to be really happy with that nice little cave. I know it goes under there to eat food, but I don't know if it's enough for it to curl up and go to sleep in. But I'll have to figure that out. If it's not, then I'll have to include something else with some of the many downed limbs and things like that we've got. I should be able to make some sort of lean-to against the house. Something to her. But I have to see. The other one's going to be a little bit easier because she's a much smaller dog. But she also has to be leashed because she's not trustworthy around the animals yet. So she's also much more likely to be able to tangle herself up. Which, I don't know, might mean that she needs to be under the steps. Which might keep the roosters from roosting on the steps, maybe. I don't know. Too many things I don't know right now. Actually, I've got another thing I could do. I could get a tie-out anchor thingy close enough to the steps that she could just go into the steps and can't get tangled or go up the steps. So that might work too. I think I'm going to need a different type of camera, something wearable before I can really do a lot of streaming on the farm. I'd love to show you some of that stuff. We've got some interesting animals, kind of fun. Dumbledore he needs to learn how to not jump on people and not paw you, but he's actually making remarkable progress. I mean, last night when I got out of the car, he didn't even try. So, last night he didn't even try jumping on me. He just sat there and I gave him a few pats and then I went inside and he was really, really good. So that much is good anyway. And so my phone is all messed up in orientation again here. So good. And I'm sorry, I haven't turned on Do Not Disturb yet because I'm sort of worried that it'll block sound for Twitch at the same time, which obviously would be bad. So something I'm gonna have to test with the short stream just to see how it works. So I'll try to do that because I definitely need to turn off notifications and things while I'm streaming. But for the moment, it's just gonna be an annoyance for the moment. So I apologize for any notifications that pop up in the moment that you make noise. I think you'll notice as I get more and more tired, I'm not going to be able to be as positive. Things are going to annoy me a little bit more, but it is what it is. Work is very stressful, very anxiety-inducing. You would think that my job should be so easy. People at work think it's really easy because I'm just handling small packages and putting them into large bags and labeling them and getting them on the conveyor belt to be loaded onto trucks. Should be really easy. Should be as simple as that. The bags themselves get pretty heavy, and that's a minor annoyance, but there's so much drama right now. Scarcity can really bring out the worst of people. It really can bring out the worst of people. And when we're short on these bags that we need to do our job with, it causes drama. It causes competition between people because they don't want to share quote-unquote their bags. The company bags are not, and they don't belong to any person. But nobody wants to share their bags, and when bags become available, people are greedy and selfish and grab as many as they can grab, regardless of whether or not that's how many they need, or without any regard to what somebody else might need. It's tiresome because it's full of so much drama, and for me, it gives me a lot of anxiety, and it adds to the claustrophobic feeling I get at work. At some point, about a month ago, they decided that it's about 200 doors separated into like 4 banks. There's a row between each and row on the outside so the outside rows have just under 50 doors, and then the inner ones have just under 100 doors. It's a little bit less than that. It's like 190 or something like that. It's but it's close enough. Each row has 50, and if you're in the middle, you've got 100. And it used to be that the first row was the quietest, and then the 5th row was reasonably quiet. But that makes sense, because you don't want to. If you've got a lot of busyness, then you're having to run from one end of the row to the other end, and to break jams and to bag things out to put on the trucks. And then there were other parts that were really, quite busy, but they more or less, a lot of the heavier workload was kind of divided up between people, sort of kind of not quite balanced, but more balanced. And then recently, like I said, about a month ago, they decided that they would put 80% of the work in the middle row. And of course, they didn't tell anybody until it happened, and nobody knew what was going on. And suddenly, you got every light on because you don't have enough people in the room, because they were still working on the old information. A month on, we've adjusted mostly, but you still have this very unbalanced work where the people in the middle are super, super busy, super, super rushed, especially when we run out of bags and have to use plastic garbage bags instead. And then you've got people on other rows, like the outer rows, which have almost no work. And it's added to the stress load. And last week we had a situation where all of us on one row when we had no bags, and I think we had 10 people on our row. 10 to 12 is what we need in the day, but we had no bags. And then we had a couple of heavy trucks turn up, with a lot of stuff, and it was going really fast. We could not keep up. And then our manager, I guess somebody asked her what's going on, why are all these lights on? And she comes over and decides that apparently we're not doing our job well enough, despite the fact nobody was sitting around doing nothing. Everybody was working. There were people from other rows helping us, and we could not keep up. And so, but still, in her infinite wisdom, she decided, she'll just write everybody up that belongs on that row, and basically blame us for not being able to be superhumans, And most of us are people who have never been written up before in our lives, and suddenly we've got all these write-ups that most of us refuse to sign because they weren't right. And that's a possibly ongoing situation, and one that's going to cause people to be looking for new jobs, because we've got our peak here now, and I don't see how we're going to survive the peak without literally getting fired for having too many write-ups for something that's beyond our control. So, actively looking for work. I've got to do some work on the computers at home because I'd really like to work remotely. Otherwise, I might thinking about seeing if I can transfer it to another location. It's honestly, it's about the same distance for me to work, but It's a different direction, smaller facility. I just don't know if they have the workload that I need to be able to be basically full-time without being officially full-time. Because if I was officially full-time, I would be happy to work 6 doubles, which could be anywhere between 60 and 72 hours a week, which would literally kill me. I just can't do that. And I don't know why they think it's okay to do that, People are just numbers there. That's kind of true for all of corporate America, to be honest. Just gonna see what those notifications were real quick. And apparently it's not gonna work. I will look later because it's not gonna be anything super important. My daughter was messaging about one of her streams, but I can't look at it well enough, obviously, right now because I'm driving, so I'll look when I get to work. That's nice. 245054 on the odometer, so that's palindrome without the leading to. I don't know why corporate America thinks that, acts like people are numbers. But like, when I questioned the manager who wrote everybody up, I said, I didn't even question, I just said, hey, this sort of thing's gonna drive away your best workers. And she literally said that she didn't care that there are new hires every day. So that was pretty disgusting, which is why I don't know that she's gonna even, I don't know if she's willing to work with my schedule today at all or not, but I at least need to know if I'm scheduled to work Twilight or not. I don't know if it was an error that I made or an error that the app made. Because if it was an error I made, it's literally the first time I've ever made that error in over a year of working here. So but I'm also more tired than I've been at any point since I've started working here, so. Which is saying something because I used to work in the trucks, and, honestly, there are days when I consider going back into the trucks because I think it was actually less stressful. Harder physically, but the mental thing is just horrible. But at the same time, then you gotta have a manager that you can work with, and there's only a small handful left as managers there because, see, the good managers, they don't get, managers there do not get treated much better than the actual package handlers. I know this because I've been paying attention over the year and a bit that I've been there, and like everything else, the good people find something else to do. Whether it's there or somewhere else, they find something else to do. So, at the end of the day, the good managers go away, leaving the bad managers. I just realized that there's another manager that I liked. That's a good manager that I haven't seen him for a while. Wonder if he's left. Hope to find out. There's a few good managers. Most of them are pretty unpleasant people, to be honest. It's weird. I guess that's what happens when you don't treat your people well. The only people that stay are the ones that don't have a better option. The moment you have a better option, you leave. And for some people, that is working out. But most people, it's going somewhere else. So that's a way to make sure that you've got high quality people and a high quality environment, therefore high quality product. Okay, let's get to the pass. Not happy that I was only going 7 over the speed limit. Oh, I was actually just about 10 over there, and he was still pulling ahead of me. Anyway, I'm gonna go 10 over, I'm gonna go back to 5 over. And yes, technically 5 over is still speeding, but nobody's gonna pull you over for that. I'm only gonna pull you over there. That's one thing. It's not even, it doesn't give you them a ticket that's worth fighting in court. You kind of have to be about 10 over before you get anything. That's give you a fine. Now, if you pull over for something else, they're gonna slap that speeding ticket on you too, just because of something else. But yeah, reality is they're not gonna pull you over for 5 over. And half the time, it's actively dangerous to do less than that. Never have looked up why there was smoke over here the other day. Keep meaning to do that, but by the time I have a minute to look on my phone, I forget about it. So too many things to remember, and the unimportant things get left behind because I don't have time for them. Oh, I'm going to slow down again. The other thing I'll do this evening, if I get off early and have any time and energy left, will be to work on my computer, my laptop, because I need to reinstall it. Before I do that, I need to grab the Windows 10 key from the software because I don't have a physical copy of that, and I'd rather not have to buy a new key if I already have one that should work. There's smoke up there, but it's white smoke, so I'm guessing it's just clearing up some brush or something. You won't be able to see that. It's a Swift truck. I saw a Martin truck the other day. That image of a purple Martin on it. They're related to Swifts. Made me wonder if that's part of the same company. I don't actually know. Any flames up there without smoke, so I'm guessing it's nothing big. Not that I'm in a position I can do much anyway. There's plenty of people around, so if it's anything bigger, they will know and be able to report it. I'm not even sure where it is, but we're in town, so. On to 22/78. It's the town of Holly Springs. Tractor Supply there. I think it's a Fusion 2 store. If you've ever worked at a Tractor Supply, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's basically about the designs and the planograms and stuff. So the Fusion stores are different from the original Tractor stores in that they have the service desk was moved from being back in the store stores are placed so that the workers are back to back rather than in one section or the next. Still sitting there. But it's done. Yeah. Thankfully, I wasn't even at speed yet, so I don't have to worry about that. So, and the Fusion stores are more like, generally speaking, they have a pit wash, and sometimes they have a garden center. That's more common on the Fusion too. They're a smaller store overall, I think. But the smaller stores are more likely to become Fusion stores. I don't know, because I remember one of my managers up north was talking about how their store was too small to be made into a Fusion store, so they're trying to make everybody into Fusion stores, regardless of whether it made sense for them or not. I don't know. I've been in smaller stores than his, and it was a Fusion store, so it's probably more likely that he doesn't like change, because he never did like change. He came up with a really nice design for a spot that had these promotion tables that were set out in a line, and in one of the stores it just made it really, really difficult to shop. And so with the manager's permission, we moved a bunch of stuff around and kind of really opened it up and was able to make it more shoppable and fit more things in the same place at the same time. And he just loved it. The district manager saw it and loved it. So that was kind of cool. But we showed it to, I literally took some pictures and showed it to people in my other store, and while the team leaders loved it, manager's like, nope. So he doesn't like change. He fights it every step of the way. But that's okay. It's his store. He was allowed to do that if he wanted to not do that if he wanted to. So. But he also had the smaller store that would have made a lot of sense to change the flow a little bit of that section. Learned a lot in retail. Alright, whoever that is, you can stop spamming. Yeah, so like, as soon as I get to work, I'm gonna report that as spam if it lets me, and remove your comment, because we're not doing that. And you were not. I know they didn't think you were watching, so. This, almost done with this little construction zone here. So now there's about halfway. Doing something in the middle, I think they're mostly just replanting. Working on a little summer, got the job pretty well done. They've done a fairly good job of managing the section. It's never been super long. I've only once, I think, been slowed down, and 2.5 months I've been actively doing this. That's not too bad. tired this morning, so I'm just kind of drifting off a little bit, but driving through northern Mississippi on the US 22 and US 78. Oh, that's a nice little convertible there. It's a Toyota Solaris. I wonder if it's an EV. Kind of cute little thing. I don't like the color though. That's funny. Goodwill, we're hiring. Yeah, they pay well below average. I'm saying they pay, I think it's $12 an hour. It's good if you need a side hustle, I guess. Or if you're a housewife trying to add a little bit to your husband's better pay, but I checked into them because I thought, oh, Goodwill, that'd be a good place for me to work. Not at that wage. Pre-COVID, I could have made a living on $12 an hour. Now, no, not a chance. Don't know anything about Red Banks except that it's easy to get onto from a couple of highways, and I must have driven through it, but I've not really noticed it too much. There was a shooting over here a couple months ago. That's all I know about Red Banks. I must have gone past on 178, but really paid attention to it. Birds circling over there, probably vultures, I think, given their size. When I was younger, I almost never saw vultures, so I see a lot of them. Maybe it was just me not noticing before, but I was also a bit of an avid bird watcher back then, so. License plates in this state, DC9 there, that'll be DeSoto County. Is Mississippi. The first two letters of the random plates are the county designator. It doesn't matter if those letters are in the first group or the second group. The first two letters are always the county designator. I was here a few months before I realized that there were counties because I was in DeSoto County when I just saw the DCs, DEAs, DEs, whatever, and I figured, oh, well, that's just where they are in the alphabet. And then I came over to Marshall County a little bit more, and then I started seeing NH, and I was like, oh, it's county by county. And I looked it up, and sure enough, it's been county by county since at least the 40s. So it's pretty kind of cool. I mean, I think I was talking about it yesterday too, because Wyoming's another state that does that. So they use numbers based on the population at the time it was set up. So you can kind of figure it out if you don't know county is, you have an idea if you're familiar with Wyoming anyway. But otherwise, it's just a number. But really get to know it. Oh, that's an interesting vehicle crossing a bridge. The bounce on the arm is pretty amazing. Makes me wonder if it's actually correctly secured. Or if someone's about to lose their job. I apologize for the cracked windshield. Where I I need to see is fine enough, so I'm not worried about it. Nobody's pulled me over for it, even though I think it is technically to the point that it is an illegal windshield, but really they don't pull you over for that unless it's really, really bad. And I've seen so many bad cars on the road here, it's amazing. It's amazing they're allowed on the road. They would never be allowed to drive on that way in England. Where I lived for over a decade and a half. Over a decade ago. Hard to believe it's been that long. And it would be tempting to try to replace the windshield. It shouldn't be that expensive. But this car is only, this model is only, the engine only lasts around 150,000 miles, and I'm now, 250,000 miles, and I'm now at 245, so I'm not expecting this car to last that much longer. I'm hoping it at least lasts till spring so I can get a signal is not going to be replaced. The drive shaft is not going to be replaced, something that I know might be a problem. So, a bunch of things have not been replaced because it's not feasible. An automatic vehicle, you're only licensed to drive an automatic. So most people know how to drive a stick shift over there. Whereas over here, most people do not. So if you want to theft-proof your vehicle, use a stick shift. Which I don't have right now, so yeah, it's not what it's whatever. But anyway, they also have an advanced driver's license, which will give you a substantial discount on your insurance and gives you some other perks, I think. But white van drivers are considered a hazard. You have to consider that a hazard on the written exam. Now, the reason why is because the white van drivers are more likely to be rented vehicles, therefore a vehicle that's not driven by a professional. So you have to consider that as a potential risk. So, just an interesting little tidbit. Yeah, so most commercial vehicles have the name of their company. So if they don't, you have to wonder if it's a private one or if it is a rented one. Another vehicle up here, man. Odd-shaped vehicle. So like I said, it was Ingram Mills. I need to look that up. Ingram's Mills, right? West Byhalia. We ran Byhalia this last week. My weekend, so picked up 3 roosters, which is probably 2 more than I need right now, but it's okay. Spring will get more hens. Probably get some chicks, but I'm a little bit cautious it's just because we lost some chicks to hawks already, but we didn't have the dogs outside, so nor the roosters to help look after the hens. So hopefully these things will help. I don't have the money to make a really nice coop with the cover and everything. Just that money is not there and isn't going to be there for at least another year unless some miracle happens. So gotta make sure that I don't let the best become the enemy of the good. We do our best with what we can now. And there's a lot of people that around us that do have chickens that they keep outside, just free ranging. So although the hawk threat is there, I think it's mostly on the smaller birds. That's all we've lost to the hawks so far, is the really small ones. So I'd rather get hens, but the ones that I actually want to, I don't want to spend $25, $30 a bird, which they're kind of sort of worth, but they're going to have to be really good egg producers before it's really worth putting that much money into hens. I'm going to hang out with the lowest speed. And I'm going to pass it. So we've got approximately 3 miles, I think, to max it. So I don't feel like hanging out right now at 165. So it's just an interesting load on this truck here. Some kind of random equipment. I wonder what he does. And then we've got another interesting load here. It looks like it might be wood chips. I think there is a bit of a lumber industry in Mississippi, so it could be something related to that. Or it might be like loose straw and stuff from if you do hay, it tends to be baled up into straw, but that's loose. So I'm wondering if it might be remnants of the cotton industry, because we've got a lot of cotton around here. I noticed bales of cotton, big, huge, round bales of cotton, bigger than the big round bales of hay that you see. It's just enormous. Probably, 500 pounds of cotton. Might be more, I don't know. It just clicks wear seatbelt. Such an important thing, People moan about seatbelts, and I'm one that I complain a little bit because the seatbelts, because I'm short, the shoulder strap tends to rest on my neck, which can be really uncomfortable and feels really restrictive at times, and it's sometimes a struggle, but it's so important. My dad was a police officer back in the day as a state trooper, and he said at one point that he never had to unbuckle a dead person. And that's important. His parents, for a while, were insurance brokers, and they did some other things too, but that was one of their main businesses, and they were so convinced in the early days when seatbelts just barely started coming in, but they were so convinced by what they saw in the insurance practice that they literally went out and installed, had seatbelts installed in their vehicles, long before it was any sort of requirement, because they basically said, hey, this is really important. These work. They're good. So I literally was brought up with seatbelts in an era that a lot of my friends didn't have seatbelts in their cars. Even if, they didn't have them. They weren't made in those cars. The 20-year-old cars when I was growing up didn't have them. Actually, some even in the newer cars didn't have them until the 80s. Alright, I'll get back to me because I'm at my exit. If you live in this area, you know where I work. And you know why I'm disgruntled. You know why most of us are disgruntled. You know why people have bumper stickers that are car decals that are based on the logo and changed slightly to express the sentiment at work. I don't know why they don't get it, but maybe that's just corporate America for you. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I will be closing the stream now, and I will catch up with you probably tomorrow. I might do one on the way home tonight, depending on what time I get off. If I get off after the first sort, then